Hey everybody, welcome back to Cosmic Life Astrology. Today we are talking about Pluto stationing direct in Capricorn, and boy are we ready for this, because this has been a 16-year cycle of transformation. You may have seen over the past 16 years small little transformations happening, but you haven't seen anything quite like what may have been happening for the past almost 2 years. Because we have seen Pluto dabbling in the same territory of Capricorn since December of 2022. So we're talking about over the past 2 years, Pluto has been forcing us to see where we need to evolve, what we need to transform in our life and get rid of for good, because we will never see Pluto in Capricorn again in our lifetime. So Pluto is, it's been pushing us to wake up and smell the roses. And we have not been, I don't think anybody can say that they haven't seen any transformations happening in their life, because the outer planets affect everyone. And when we look at our society and what has happened since 2008, we have seen on a collective level in our society the banking system be transformed, the political systems in our society be upheavaled. We have seen the movie and music business be upheavaled, because the things that were hidden behind the scenes, the corruption that has happened behind the scenes, the things that were built on shaky grounds, the facades that were put up in front of us they're not going to be tolerated anymore. And Pluto was a force to be reckoned with, because Pluto had to reveal the things that needed to be revealed in order for us to be at this point where we are no longer allowing things to happen and to be the way that they were. And on an individual basis, when we're talking about Capricorn, we're talking about the structures that we've been conforming to. So this could be the structures in your career life, your finances, your family dynamics, your romantic relationships, your health and well-being, the structures in your, in your communications and the way you, your belief systems, there have been very likely karmic lessons that have been on repeat for the past 16 years. Where over the past couple of years, as Pluto's been at the last degrees of Capricorn, you finally come to this point where you're like, okay, we're putting an end to this, for lack of better terms, shit show. We're not conforming to this anymore. We're not doing this, right? Things that were not built on solid grounding, things that were not in line with who you truly are, things that were hidden under the rug had to be brushed out from under in order for us to live a more authentic life. And when we see Pluto move into Aquarius, we're talking about honoring our individual sovereignty. Aquarius is not afraid to express its own unique sovereignty and has no problem cutting ties and making moves. So as Pluto makes its final exit from Capricorn, this has been a slow cutting away process. This has been a slow evolution, transformation that has been taking place. But when Pluto goes into Aquarius, it's like that wisdom that we take from Pluto's journey in Capricorn is enabling us to take that Aquarian energy and say, when things come up that aren't in line with our unique individual sovereignty and self-expression, we're able to cut loose from them more easily, right? Because we're like, yeah, no, we're not going to go back to that Pluto and Capricorn way of being. We're like not putting up with the nonsense anymore. And anything that comes my way that isn't in line with who I am at my core, that doesn't serve me, that makes me conform to this way of being that isn't who I am, we're busting loose from it. We're breaking free from that. Aquarius loves to march to the beat of their own drum. And I say this very confidently over and over again because I am surrounded by Aquarius people. And they all have this common denominator of not being afraid to cut cords. They're, when they're pushed to a point where they feel like their own sovereignty is being sacrificed, they will walk away. And Aquarius wants to honor their uniqueness and their individuality. Aquarius is also community focused. It's about the people as a whole. And so when we see Pluto move into Aquarius, we're going to see the collective communities coming together and forcing our individual needs within those communities to be honored, forcing there to be more of a focus on what serves the people. And when we're looking at our society and the things that are going on, yes, this could require a bit of a fight. Aquarius is not afraid to fight for what's right. This may bring up a need for some rebellion or some, protests. We may see protests happening across the globe. We may see, communities coming together and forcing change that has been long overdue. And this is because we've learned those lessons while Pluto was in Capricorn of what's not serving the people, what structures we're not going to conform to, what we're not going to tolerate anymore. And I think that is a beautiful thing, the way the astrology is lining things up, because it couldn't happen any other way. And when we look at the timing of Pluto exiting Capricorn, as it's stationing direct, we see Mars approaching in opposition to Pluto. And we will also have a full moon in Aries making a square to Pluto. And so when we're looking at these aspects that are happening as Pluto is stationing direct, these are aspects that really signal a boiling point. Because when we're talking about Mars opposing Pluto in general, regardless of what sign, that right there is a very tense opposition that could trigger a lot of outbursts, angry emotions. There could be a fight of ego or will. And this could be, that final moment where you are forced to express yourself in a way that allows you to break free. Some people may feel like there's like something stuck onto you that you're trying to break free from, that you're trying to you have to get rid of it. It's not serving you, and it's been a struggle to get it off of you. And this could be that trigger that, causes you to finally find a way to break free, or finally take action to break free from this thing that's been, holding you back from your own unique individuality, holding you back from your own, needs being served, or holding you back from having things in your life that are on solid ground, that are in line with who you are, that are real and tangible. You know, Capricorn wants real and tangible things. And whatever hasn't been working in your life over the past 16 years, that if you didn't already transform it, you are about to finally transform it now. There have been warning signs and red flags over the past 2 years while Pluto's been in the final degrees of Capricorn that have been showing you this needs to stop. You need to evolve from this. You need to, you know, if you want the new beginning that you say you want, that you know deep down in your soul that you want and you need to release this and let go and, you know, be the phoenix rising from the ashes and know that you don't need to conform to a certain way, you know, to make others happy. You need to make yourself happy first. And so there could be people making a lot of big life decisions during this time, or coming to realizations of, or coming to accept things that have been coming to their awareness over time that aren't true for them, that aren't in line with who they are. And, you know, when you take a look at your chart and you see where Capricorn falls in your chart, you will understand more of the themes that have been playing out over the past 16 years. And when you look at where Aquarius is, you know, you'll have an understanding of what to expect when Pluto moves into Aquarius. What areas of your life are going to be undergoing some kind of evolution during Pluto's time in Aquarius. And, you know, I mentioned during my last video that I would bring up a personal example of what Pluto in Capricorn has taught me, because for some people that are just starting out in learning about astrology, I think this would be helpful to understand the themes in astrology as a whole. So for me, Capricorn is in my 7th and 8th house. And in 2008, when Pluto went into Capricorn, I became a mother. It transformed my marriage at the time, right? And during the time that Pluto was in Capricorn in my 7th house, not only did I have my first child, but I ended up having a second child. And when Pluto moved into my 8th house in Capricorn, the energy shifted. And there were themes of things I needed to heal, which is 8th house. My shared resources underwent a lot of changes between me and my now ex-husband. There were karmic things that came up that had to be released in order for me to break free into something that's more authentic to who I am. And there were a lot of repeated cycles of overextending myself, which is another way of looking at shared resources. Shared resources is not just about money, it's about time, because you can never get back time. And time is worth more than money. And even when Pluto Stationed Direct yesterday, I had a reminder of how I overextend myself to people in my life where I'm not getting the same returned to me. Shared resources, right? And when it happened, I immediately thought, this is so Pluto stationing direct right now in Capricorn. This final reminder of where I've overextended for reasons that I will not get into, but it was things that I had to heal over several years that I've, gone through that process. But it was like that final testing point of, wait, are you sure you healed from this? Are you sure you learned the lesson? Because you just got reminded of that thing that you do, and you're about to go into new territory. So are you ready? And so when you look at things that come up, especially during this last month of Pluto and Capricorn, you will see something similar happen to you, where there will be something that is like a reminder of what you've been transforming and evolving from over the past 16 years, where it's like Pluto's final test of, are you ready to move on from this? Are you ready to let go and evolve from the things that weren't serving you, the ways that you needed to, transform yourself and your life in order to be more authentic and in your own sovereignty? And this next month could also be, where you are ready for that new territory, and you're putting the final nails in the coffin of Pluto and Capricorn. You're, signing on the dotted line, and you're making the moves, taking the steps, and basically preparing for that new territory when Pluto moves into Aquarius. And especially so when we're looking at the next week with the full moon in Aries and the opposition to Mars, both connecting to Pluto and Capricorn, right? So with the full moon in Aries, we're talking about, Aries is very much about the self. Full moons are very emotional. And the full moon is going to conjunct Chiron. I'm going to make a separate video on this, but I can't not talk about this while I talk about Pluto stationing direct, because the timing of it is pretty much intertwined, and they do play a hand with each other. So we're talking about, Chiron wounds, or maybe triggers, or vulnerabilities that come up. With a square to Pluto, this can be very challenging and could cause some discomfort or tension. And when we're talking about the opposing of Mars in the mix of this, that very well brings up added tension. Mars in Cancer is willing to fight based off of how it feels. It's willing to fight for its loved ones and what's right. It's willing to fight for its security and its well-being and what makes Mars feel comfortable and safe. Cancer very much honors its own comfort and, safe space. Its home life, is very critical to Cancer. So home and family issues could be coming up during this time, where there are tensions that you have to face dead on in order to move on from things that are not serving. It's like a catalyst to putting that final nail in the Pluto and Capricorn coffin. I love the way astrology works when you see certain things line up and you're like, yes, this is in line with exactly what needs to happen. Now, some people may feel this more than others. If you have planets or angles in your chart that are near 25 degrees of Aries, where the full moon will be, or 28 degrees of Capricorn, where Pluto is, or around 23 degrees of Cancer, where Mars is, you will feel this more strongly. You may see something very tumultuous happen if you have planets or angles around within a couple of degrees of those areas. For others, if this is not hitting anything in your chart, you may not see anything very significant happen, This could be more of, you know, an acceptance point of things that have happened in the past where you're ready to move on from. And it may not be as tumultuous and, you know, triggering for you. But this is the final farewell to a 16-year chapter. It's very much needed at this point. You know, it has felt like a long drawn out process with Pluto in Capricorn in Saturn sign. And we are now ready to break free from those things that are not good for us anymore, and to proceed forward in a way that's more authentic and true to our individual self. So I hope that this helps you understand the things to expect with the final closing of Pluto in Capricorn over the next month, and gives you a feel for what kind of themes we'll see when Pluto enters Aquarius in November and moving forward. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel. The YouTube algorithm has not been friendly to astrologers over the past year almost. Share your comments. I read all of them. I respond to all of them. Like the video and share the video with people that you think would enjoy this content as well. I do appreciate all of you, and I will be making my next video on the Aries full moon probably later today or tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And I wish you all a great week despite whatever may happen during this final round of Pluto in Capricorn. I wish you all well. Take care, everyone. Bye.